it's slow, but I think that what's happening, or that I notice in like very basic social, psychological circles around the world, is the normalization of the term, at least.
Oh yeah, everybody knows it.
For example, in Los Angeles, where the Lakers play, the arena, which is one of the most famous in the world, is now called Crypto.com Arena. So even 3 years ago, that would never happen. Yeah, exactly. And so that's just a huge normalization of the word, right?
Yeah, and it shows that there's money to be made because crypto is buying stuff.
And it's safe because this basketball team plays there, right? So it at least opens the window a little bit to like, okay, this isn't some black market underground scary thing anymore. I can at least go do some YouTube learning, or I can ask some friends.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to What's on Your Feed season finale. Today we have a very special guest from Canada. He's a painter and he goes by the name Toblerusse. You can find on his website his paintings, toblerusse.com, or on Instagram. So here's Ron Toblerusse. Hi, Ron.
Hi, thanks for having me.
What have you been watching on YouTube?
Yeah, have you ever heard of this? It's called People Just Do Nothing.
No, but I like it already.
It's a British show. This group of guys, they live in the UK, in kind of a suburb, I guess, and they're not exactly the brightest or most ambitious. Well, they're ambitious, kind of, but they're not the brightest crew. And they have kind of a pirate radio channel where they do their, I don't know what it's called, dubstep, or I don't know what exactly kind of music they're trying to do, but they're like a crew and they want to make it, the leader, he thinks they could take over the whole world, but they're just not that good. I was just remembering that I used to come here to like afterwards to watch or send my friends funny bits, but the actual show, the episodes are like 20 or 30 minutes.
I've never seen this actually on Netflix.
I'll move on to some actual channels. KEXP is a channel that I sometimes go to find new music. It's based in Seattle, Washington, and I discovered them because I was trying to find music on one of my favorite bands, which is The War on Drugs, and they have some really good half-an-hour sessions there. And when you go there, if you find it, you probably can find some indie or alt music or rock music, whatever they have that comes through. And if you just sort of leave it on their channel, you'll stream through a bunch of stuff that you may or may not know. And I find a lot of good music on there, a lot of new bands that come through, and they generally play, probably 4 or 5 of their new songs or their best songs.
Do they have a radio too?
That is a radio channel, a radio station.
Okay.
Yeah. I like them because I think they have some good hosts. Hosts can ask dumb, not necessarily dumb, silly or redundant questions you don't always want to hear, but sometimes they ask more genuine, authentic type of stuff. One of them is one that we like. Her name is Cheryl Waters. She really is they say like wear your emotions on your sleeve. Like if she really likes a song, you could see she can sometimes barely talk. She's just like trembling with excitement. Yeah, so that's kind of funny. And if you ever watch the particular one that drew me to this channel with the War on Drugs, you can see that she literally says her adrenals are like exploding. She was so excited to see them. And anyway, this one is a bit new to me. I like the concept. Usually a lead singer, sometimes they fit in a whole band, but usually the lead singer of a band or a solo artist that's in a gondola going up a mountain, and you get this really authentic experience that's a rare place for a live performance, you could say, and nice scenery, nice sound, good quality, unique.
It's not only a gondola. I see some cable cars. How is it called? What's the name of the channel?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's called Gondola Sessions.
Okay. Oh, that's what you call a gondola.
Yeah. You thought it was like the?
I thought it was a boat.
The boat, like in Italy,
that's we call a gondola. Yeah.
It's also called a gondola. Yeah, very confusing.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, yeah.
Gondolas are the enclosed ski lifts. So I'll go to the next one because I have more to say. This channel is called Discourse Syndicate, and this is a channel I've been going to a lot in the last year and a half, and it's about a cryptocurrency community that's rather large and growing that has a couple coins. It started with one called Hex, which is kind of polarizing. If you know about it, people either love it or hate it because of the guy who made it, who's not on this. These guys are not the guy who created the coin, he's here. But these are guys who speak on it. They're community members. They made their own channel, and it's growing incredibly fast. There are other YouTubers spawning off of this channel. So there's basically never an hour in a day where you can't tune into somebody speaking about this community or these coins or these cryptos. And the people are not just making YouTube channels about it, but they're actually building new things, new infrastructure, new cryptos that are on this ecosystem. And when I first started to listen to it, I was actually learning from the beginning about it. And that was about a year and a half ago, when even the coin was rather new at that time. I mean, crypto is, since Bitcoin, since that started, it's been 12, 13 years, but this is only 2 years. And I would tune in just to listen because they were really discovering the math and the coding and the complexities of what the system actually does. And it was fun because you would not just learn how it worked, but you could listen to them figuring out, like, the light bulbs going off in their heads. Like, even live, they were discussing, oh, wait, no, this is how... This is how this actually is interesting. Like, you could see they were figuring out stuff on air. Yeah, exactly. Their discussions would build to the point where they were learning, and you just sit there. It was the best way to learn. These days, that core stuff, that core math, you could say, is for these guys who the core people of this channel. They kind of are so knowledgeable about it that doesn't really factor into too many of the conversations. They already figured things out enough. Most of it, yeah. But now there are 2 really big new projects in this community that are coming out hopefully soon, in the next month or 2, and that will re-engage the learning process. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. If anyone ever wants to learn, they could go there. Yeah, Hex is the main topic. Another thing that's happening is a fork of Ethereum, which is a big blockchain. They're forking that chain to something called Pulse Chain, and that's what's going to be coming out in the next few weeks or maybe a month or 2. And another product on there, which is just like an exchange called Pulse X. So there's new stuff coming. But yeah, that's pretty much what you learn about here. On to the next. I just found my old channel that I like to visit a lot was CollegeHumor, but that was more when I was myself in college or university. A lot of shows I watched that are on now on FX, or I found out. I remember this channel. I think right about that time I was in college, I used to watch this too. And sometimes I stumble on some of their older videos and still crack me up. Yeah. And so, like, I don't know if what came first, but I would watch Key and Peele episodes and stuff, and I would find them on here. And a lot of this stuff now that I'm looking through, I haven't even seen. It's been a while since I've been here, but like stuff maybe like this. Oh, I remember exactly. I was just remembering that one. If Google was a guy, yeah. And you can tell that by scrolling through, I can see that a lot of the main characters actors have changed. Some of them went on to get their own shows. Right. Yeah, they spin off of this. They have a good variety of different things. And it's very pop culture and internet centered, so everyone can relate to this. Yeah. The next channel, I would say, that I like, that I've started watching, basically when the first lockdowns came into effect, like in 2020, I was looking for people to listen to for advice at the time about learning about cryptocurrencies. So before I even came to Hex. And what I liked about this guy, his name is Simon Dixon, and he has a growing series of videos that he does that I liked what he had to say, because he had been in this world and has been for years. And he said one of his main things is that he has the first ever published book to talk about Bitcoin. Oh, really? I guess he's in history for that. And he loves to tell people. But he's a good person to break down macro concepts of economics and what's going on. He used to be a market maker, so he knows, like, even before crypto, how markets would be manipulated and adjusted, and global impacts of things where interest rate manipulation and all this stuff that we see now today, and that is kind of hitting a boiling point. So it's not just crypto. He tackles a little bit of everything. It is. But if you wanted to learn about that, I think that this is a good place to start, because he's good at pretty much articulating a large spectrum of things that you can, in a way, to make you understand it. That even if you like, sometimes if I think about it, sometimes maybe it can be a bit complex for a new person, but I think if you started and, listen to it maybe once or twice, he would make more sense with a couple listens, where if you really cared about figuring out some of this stuff and wanted to plan ahead, then you could come to this channel to learn, like, maybe if I put aside some of my savings to do this, or if I was trying to protect myself from inflation, what assets or whatever should I, convert into, stuff like that. This channel is similar, where this lady is probably the main host, Stansberry Research. She does a lot of interviews one-on-one, as you can see. I just like that the conversations are, first of all, she's very neutral, objective, pretty smart about the way she conducts or steers the conversation. People really enjoy her method of interviewing, asking solid questions when, letting at the right time, letting the person speak. And so it's a similar realm of interest for me, but it extends into other types of investments. You can see that the main one there is precious metals, gold, silver, stuff like that. People have different
ways to invest,
and people have different views. Like, it's funny to you don't want to generalize too much, but you can see that a lot of people born past a certain time have different views of whether or not crypto or gold are the way to go. And I think that the sort of legacy finances, some people, if you watch, are a bit too stuck in their ways because they're even unable to accept that technology can change or should change their worldview on something. So they
and cryptos are we are in a unique time for abstract money where people don't see the product and don't have like materialized the concept of crypto. It's a bit hard to understand, and if it even is for us that we're this is kind of our world, internet and digital information. Imagine for boomers or our parents or our grandparents if they're still alive. So it's very complicated. So.
It is. It's an amazing time because, even if you look at the last 12, 10, 8 years, they really pushed back against this technology. And I'm not even really like a big Bitcoin advocate or anything, or even pushing one coin versus the other. It's more, for me, it's just an openness to change, and technology, where it's not just new money or money. It's kind of psychology, social psychology. The fact that the world is very connected, you have to accept that there are new things that, while they may immediately appear to you, if you can hate it, you can call it stupid, you can say like, oh, look at NFTs, right? They're blowing up, and some of them get sold for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and you say like, this is crazy, what is that? Well, it's not so much whether you like it or not, it's more about social consensus of like,
it's
something
gonna happen.
And you have to remember that everything ties together, even things like video gaming, right? So I'm not a gamer, but I understand that within that area, there are products and assets in the games that people buy and sell and trade. And that's been going on for years, even before Bitcoin, for example, right? So technically those were cryptocurrencies for years before.
Everything that holds value can be made into a coin. I think the problem here, and especially in cryptos and NFTs, is that there are still too many barriers for people who want to start. Like
Definitely.
you have to know all this stuff and the wallets, and then you have the question of, can I trust this person, because there's a lot of scams, and then you have to trust yourself and trust that you know the technology enough to, if you get into some complicated, weird situation, you can get out of it. So there's a lot of literacy that has to be done beforehand.
Yeah, perfectly said. I mean, that's very true. And I think one of the big challenges for the communities or the developers or the creators of cryptos, for example, is going back to the basics of UI, UX. So user experience and user interface, right? A lot of people don't even go into something because I don't want to learn that. I don't learn that. I don't need to. I have my thing, connects to my bank. I got it on my phone. That's enough for me. Or, like you just said, I don't trust myself. I'm going to lose it. Or I don't even want to do that. Or I don't want to learn it, or I don't believe in it, or I don't want to get hacked or whatever. And it's still a very, like, in my opinion, snail, maybe the snail turns into a turtle and then finally a rabbit, right? So it's slow, but I think that what's happening, or that I notice in like very basic social, psychological circles around the world, is the normalization of the term, at least.
Oh yeah, everybody knows it.
For example, in Los Angeles, where Lakers play, the arena, which is one of the most famous in the world, is now called Crypto.com Arena. So even 3 years ago, that would never happen. Sorry?
Crypto.com bought it.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's just a huge normalization of the word, right?
Yeah, and it shows that there's money to be made because crypto is buying stuff.
And it's safe because this basketball team plays there, right? Yeah. So it's not, and then you see more commercials. If you have basic cable TV, once in a while it pops up, and I've noticed more this year than ever before. And I don't think that really necessarily helps with what you were speaking of, like the safety concerns, the learning curves, all that. But it at least opens the window a little bit to like, okay, this isn't some black market underground scary thing anymore. I can at least go do some YouTube learning, or I can ask some friends. And that leads to a little bit more of, oh, how does a wallet work? Well, let me show you. You need to write down these words, keep them safe, don't put them on the internet, and slowly, like every year, more and more people will learn it. And I also think that,
the technology is going to be more user-friendly.
It has to be more user-friendly, and you'll also have just the effect of more people will learn, so more people will teach their friends and family, and it will get easier. But also, I mean, we were talking a few minutes ago about the turmoil of the legacy financial system, and printing money into oblivion, and then dropping interest rates really low, and then pumping them back up, and just trying to fix this problem that they created, for the last 50 years. With the minute the gold standard was done, things went, down this path. And so if you have this alternative internet thing, those powers that be that's why they kind of downplayed it and made fun of it for years and years and years. And then now suddenly it's on the side of a giant building, right? So that switch happens, and now you can see it. You always wonder, well, why is this allowed to happen now? Maybe, who knows? But the point is, if it can help people gain control of their own finances and, money, and being able to hold it rather than a bank. A lot of people, like, let's say you have family in the third world or somewhere that needs money, and it's not so easy. Yeah. By the time your money gets to your family member, the middleman takes like this much, like not zero, but like a big amount.
Yeah, definitely not zero. A lot of
cut here. Pieces, they just take it. Whereas with this new technology, you send from here to here, it's there in a matter of minutes. And there's no middleman, hopefully. If you're doing it, in the proper decentralized manner, that's how it goes. And that, I mean, I think that's a great thing for humanity, because the middlemen don't need to have their finger along the way everywhere. But they love it because that's how they get extremely wealthy. But so it's going to be an interesting time. That's why these types of channels.
They help a lot.
Yeah. Back to music. I want to share the last one. Is one that most people probably know. It's a big channel, but I like it for not just to find new music, sometimes bands that I like. So, like, for example, I'm a big fan of the Roots, are perfect for something like this, because not a lot of hip hop music is grounded in or structured around a band, especially a band of their skill level. And so for them to have a platform like this to show that talent. And like, I mean, granted, they, for, 10 or I don't know how many years that they've been in, they've kind of changed their path, and they've been on the late show, I guess it's called.
They're the band for
Jimmy Fallon. So that example doesn't exactly fit, because people, if they watch that, they know they're a good band. But the point is more just like this small desk thing, really.
Tiny Desk,
Tiny Desk. It's cool. It's funny to see a group of people in a small place, really tight.
And it shows you that music can be enjoyed everywhere. It's like that spontaneous thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I love these shows too.
Sometimes I just come and play random ones or shuffle. Am I allowed to share my YouTube channel on here?
Oh, of course.
This show? My channel. If anybody wants to see, I have
live painting.
Yeah, basically at the top is what I would share. Is I have 3 years ago, can't believe it was that long ago, but 3 years ago I decided to make a series of recorded paintings that I would time lapse, you could say, into basically 1 minute long videos. I call them OMPs, 1 minute paintings.
Oh, okay.
And so, I would record it. And so I just put probably 5 to 10 hours worth of painting into a 1 minute video. And I saw a few people do it on the internet, and I want to try it out.
That's just really cool. Even if you want to paint and you don't know nothing about painting, it's cool to see, how to block the colors and how these things are made.
And that's a good point. I should say that before I painted people or things, like even violin or a hand or a face, I only painted abstract, because I never really learned how to do that. And it was always a bit of a block or frustration for me, because I wanted to put stuff in the painting, but I didn't know how. And like most things, like you just said, I went to YouTube to learn. And there's so many great videos, but not everyone was for me. Like, I didn't have the patience to do objects, you could say, in the way that some people did. Like, they would trace it and
realist.
And I said, that's cool, but I can't do that. So then I would search another one, and so eventually I found people that painted in a way that I really resonated with, or it's like, I knew, I like what that person did, I think I could try that.
And you found your own style.
Yeah, and it was thanks to YouTube, I can say.
Super cool.
I'll show one more.
Yeah,
as you can see, I have kind of almost like a, you could say, stone carving. You go from a block down to more specific. So I have errors and corrections, until I remove as many errors as possible.
Yeah, but you end up, you do a lot of color blocking, and you end up finding some reflexes and tones and shades very, very unusual. And I think that's part of your style, of your unique style.
Thanks.
It's a very cool result.
I actually prefer that rather than realistic, because when I have to do realistic, it gets a little bit frustrating. This is the last one I'll show, but I like it a lot because it's unique. It's actually two faces.
Oh, they're split.
They're split. Federer and Nadal. And
that's the court, the tennis court behind, and those are the spots.
So okay. Federer is the king of Wimbledon, and Nadal is the king of clay. So Wimbledon is grass and green, and Nadal is on the red clay.
Oh, okay.
And it was amazing to me how similar their facial features are if you really line them up. Like the length of the nose, the positioning of the type of eye, mouth, a lot, really.
Yeah, they are. It's almost feels like it's just one person.
It's kind of weird. So yeah, that's my channel. Well, this guy is very good. I've watched him a long time ago, and then he does very political rapping, a lot of American stuff. He swears a lot, so I don't know if you want to have that on. But if anyone wants to check him out, he's called, I think, The Real Samson.
Real Samson.
This guy. He's got a mullet.
Oh yeah, yes he does.
There's only a few video. Well, no, there's a lot, but he does some good rapping. And if anyone wants to check out some political rap,
it's political just for Canada or worldwide?
No, America.
Okay.
He doesn't like Biden very much, and policies and everything. It's not really wholesome to play right now, so I won't. But anyone who wants to see it, but he's good. He's clever, and he's kind of funny.
Cool.
But you were going to ask something?
I was gonna ask you to do your top 5. You can put your own channel in there. I don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, I'd put the KEXP for me at number 1.
Okay.
For anyone wanting to learn about this particular community, at number 2, Discourse Syndicate, X. The Simon Dixon episodes for people wanting to learn about just macroeconomics and applies maybe some new changes to their plans going forward. If you think that things are going to change, you want to learn. For me, I think I'd like to put that Gondola one up, but I can't vouch for it very much. But I watched it recently and I really enjoyed it. And then number 5 would be, my own channel. Go check out Toblerusse. Yeah. So
Ron, thank you so much. It was just so cool. I didn't know most of the channels that you showed me, and that's always nice. Love to see your channel too. And for everyone, please check Toblerusse. Go to his website, check out his paintings.
And just one other thing is we should mention that eventually keep your ears and eyes open for especially anyone with children or young nephews and nieces. We are making an animated 8-minute story about a cool water molecule, and it's going to be great. We're going to release it to the world in a few months.
Yeah, it's a great writing. It's a great story. I think people will love it. And for sure, keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much again, Ron.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Ciao.
Bye, everybody. Bye.